wait a second. There's something different here. There's something going on here. I started playing, and I'm like, where's my lead? What do you have there?
This, John. This is why your phone needs a breathalyzer.
And why is that?
This is a djembe.
A djembe.
I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's djembe or something like that.
Are you sure that's how you spell it? Are you spelling it phonetically, or are you like really trying to spell it the way that it is?
No, it starts with a D, but that's silent. So it's because there's no way to go from a D to a J. You just can't. You just can't do it. So I tried for before I even played this thing.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a djembe. And,
it's a djembe.
But you know what's impressive? I put it on Facebook. I'm like, okay, what without Googling,
yeah.
And I had the picture, what is this? And people freaking got it, dude. They're like, wow, all right. I had to. So the reason I picked it up,
yeah.
I don't know. I was the last couple weekends, I've been listening to this just on YouTube on my TV, which I have run through the stereo. And I've been listening to just percussive stuff, just Middle Eastern stuff. There's a band called Tenarowin. I'm not gonna spell it. Just Tenarowin.
Look up Tenarowin.
Yeah, they're an African they're an African band, but they play Stratocasters. And but anyway, I've been getting into some more percussive, that kind of thing, and I just on online came across this guy at 2 a.m. I was like,
I've got to have it.
That will be mine. And
out of all the things that you could have bought a sitar, you could have bought something guitar-like, string associated.
Djembe.
But you picked up, out of all the things, you picked up a djembe. And once again, no idea how to spell it. Starts with a D. Djembe.
Djembe. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it. But, well...
I bought it for this reason and that.
And you have to wear aviator sunglasses.
I should have worn just for the hell of it.
I know. Well, some people can pull off sunglasses and some people can't. I'm not one of those that can.
What?
I picked these up at an airport on my way to Vegas a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to look like I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to get Vegas sunglasses. So,
yeah.
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, anyway, this showed up yesterday. I was like, I'm going to play this on Guitar Dudes. So, yeah, we're not even up to, this is episode, 9?
9.
Yeah, I asked John before we started filming, I said, okay, now that we're up to episode 6 or 7, he goes we're on 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not even on episode 10 and we're already screwing things up, dude. You don't ever know what you're going to get.
But that's the whole point of it is...
I'm going to break out some spoons and washboards and whatever makes sound.
Have you seen at... what's the name of the band? Steve and Seagal, something like that. No, Steve and Seagulls. They did a bluegrass version of AC/DC's Thunderstruck. Tell me.
Oh!
Have you seen that?
Yes. It was going around on Facebook.
Millions of hits. Millions.
Of hits. Yeah, it was great.
Yes.
I mean, they rocked it, too. It's
yes.
I'd pay to see that crap.
Yes.
Man.
It was a very well done video. See, that's the kind of stuff that I hope that Guitar Dudes can, we can take it to a whole nother level. Of course, we're enjoying what we're doing, talking with y'all, making shit up as we go along.
We haven't talked all day. No. Until right before, 15 minutes before the video.
That's just...
No planning.
No, we just... Because we know each other so well, it's and we've been kind of throwing around the idea of having sort of a touchy-feely moment, but masculine, like full-on testosterone, memory lane kind of shit. Memory lane, which is why I brought out. Brian brought up. So you brought your. What is it called again?
A djembe.
A djembe. So Brian's memorable moment is this. No, I'm kidding. It's his djembe.
This is the greatest moment of my life. Right here.
Right here. So on what, September 1st or 2nd? It's the 1st of September, whichever, 1st or 2nd. This is the most memorable moment of Brian's life is his djembe. So I had...
This is gonna, the whole episode. You can't sit here and not screw around with this thing either, dude.
So we're just gonna fart around as we talk.
I know. But that used to, the only time when I did take a guitar lesson, the only thing I learned was the blues scale. And that was it. The lessons really went nowhere because I couldn't, the teacher never could really teach me anything because I'd be screwing around, with just screwing around, not an ADD dude. But anyway, you brought a...
All right, so we were, literally, I'm setting everything up. We're talking about favorite guitarists, musicians that inspired us. And I've sort of blogged about this a little. And that is, for me, Slash from Guns N' Roses was always the icon. What curtailed me into playing not just guitar, but playing rock, because Beach Boys really got me going at a younger age, but it was Slash, the top hat, the Les Paul guitar, that really took things to a whole nother level. So that's why in 1994 or 1995, this is when Gibson owned Epiphone, I had to have it. And this was considered a more expensive Epiphone / Gibson guitar, but her name is Lolita, and she's been with me for a long time, man, 20-something years, and still just plays sweet as ever.
Oh, dude, it has that look, like it's aged a little bit.
Yes.
And I love when a guitar, it's like my acoustic guitar, my blue one.
Yes.
Same thing. It's like it's aged like 20 years.
And look at that. If you can look at the pickups just a little bit, they've oxidized. And some people go, "Oh my gosh, you've got to clean them, otherwise they'll." Maybe I don't know, because I've also had my guitar tech told me, he said older pickups, even though they may not be the very, very best pickups possible, your burst bucker humbuckers, for instance, that, like the 1957 style that you find in Gibsons, the very iconic humbuckers. These are, they're I don't know, they've gotten hot over the years, and I've compared. I've actually done an A/B comparison between this Epiphone Gibson and my actual Gibson. And the reason that I call this an Epiphone Gibson is because in the 90s, up until, I don't want to say the wrong date, up until the early 2000s, but Gibson, or the parent of the Gibson company, owned Epiphone. So, in fact, it even says Gibson right on it. So, technically, it is an Epiphone / Gibson guitar. So, I call it a Epi-Gib. I don't know, I'll make up another name. But I've compared these. I've compared these pickups to my expensive Gibson. These are just as loud. Now, earlier on, that may not have been the case back when I first got it, but man, these pickups have aged so well.
Yeah.
And I feel kind of bad that I haven't been playing as much. I've been playing, obviously, my Gibson, but this one just, it sounds good. So, anyways.
Yeah. Well, I think, and as the wood ages,
yes.
the wood around the, you know, the neck has aged, the body is aged,
right,
and all of that, you know, the cavities and stuff that are channeled out in these guitars, you know. I mean, and I'm not a, you know, I can't even say the word luthier,
yeah, or luthier, but yeah, I think it's luthier, yeah.
We're talking tech talk. I don't even know how to say words. No, but yeah, you know, I don't know how science works, but I mean, as guitars age,
yeah,
you know, you know, and to me, it's just like strings, you know, like if I'm recording, you know, I don't like to record when I've just put strings on a guitar. I like them, you know, like a week old. They've stretched, and they're not as tinny sounding, because I play really light gauge strings. Like I play nines. Yeah. You know, but it just a little bit of it, that little bit of that treble comes down. Right. You know, and yeah, with pickups. Well, my dad's guitar. I'll try to bring that out in one of these other videos and show you the pickup. The pickups on it are just like you swam down to the bottom of a swamp and pulled them up, because they've oxidized so much they're like green. You know,
but how do the pickups sound? I mean, I've heard you play it, but how would you describe the sound?
They sound really well. I mean, I think they're to the point where, and I think it's just the wiring. Okay. You know, I think a lot of that, you know, the pots are dirty and stuff. Yeah. I mean, so I'd probably trace everything out before I'd replace the pickups. Okay. But these are probably, 50 years old. Yeah. But you know, they still, I mean, I still play it all the time, you know, and it fires up. It sounds good. Yeah. They're not as hot. I mean, they don't have as much bite as they did, you know, 20 years ago. But at the same time, it gives it a, you know, it gives it a sound. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like how your voice ages over time. Right. You know, we don't talk the way we did, you know, 10, 20 years ago, you know.
Which is a good thing that we don't sound like in our teenage years, because otherwise you sound like this. So,
we're in a perpetual state of puberty.
Teenage years. I hated puberty.
Yeah. So you've named the name of your guitar, Lolita.
Lolita. I named her Lolita, and I haven't played her in a while. Like I said, I've either been playing my Taylor acoustic, I've been playing my Gibson, and when I took this out, in fact, I took it out yesterday or the day before, just because I knew that, you know, because we talked about talking about memory lane and what guitars, what artists, musicians influenced us. So I thought, let me go and take Lolita out, kind of stretch her legs. I plugged her in, just kind of tuned her up a little bit. She wanted to play. And I know that this sounds funny. You think, this is an inanimate object. It doesn't talk. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't, it doesn't have feelings. But damn it, man, this guitar wanted to play. I just pulled up some songs on Apple Music, and she's just jamming. Now, the thing about Lolita is she wants to jam. She doesn't like that light. She's not a finger-picking guitar, because I've rocked her out for the last 20-something years. She needs to have that hard... She's not into the... Although it does sound good, but she likes to get that meaty... There's something about it, though. But damn it, man. We played for, 45 minutes to an hour? She wanted to be played, and I wanted to play her after that, because she just sounded so good. I didn't have to really adjust, like we talked about adjusting the EQ on the the EQ on the amp. No, just it of course with the tones, it was already set for the Gibson, so I just said, screw it, I'll just plug it. It sounded great. So, anyways, I may use this guitar for future episodes. It really does sound really good.
Yeah, and I kind of subscribe to the thing of I think age sounds good. I'm fascinated with Fender Tweed amps. In fact, when I bought my Blues Junior, I got the Tweed model, just because it looks cool.
Really?
But I'd love to find like an old Fender Champ, Just I think it was like a 5-watt little tube amp.
Right.
I love how old stuff sounds.
Yeah.
Old guitars, and you know, even if there is a little bit of breakup or there's some age or there's it doesn't have to sound so perfect. You know,
right.
I mean, to me, you know, part of being a guitar player is the hobbyist. You know, you got to keep it's like a car. You got to keep things running. But you know, sometimes the engine's a little louder. You know, and got a belt going out here and there. But
all right. But what about with you? What guitars? What musician inspired you? And is there a guitar that comes to mind that you just say, this guitar, no matter what, will always be my number one? Do you have one?
Yeah, and actually, man, this is like show and tell. I feel like I'm in first grade. I wish you could see like down, because I've got like toys, like so.
Oh hell, that's funny.
Yeah, right here. Dire Straits,
yes.
Brothers in Arms.
Yes.
This album, you know, this is the first one that, you know, that I heard that I kind of, you know, like a dog hears something and their ears kind of perk up. So, and I was like little, and I mean, I think this was made in '79, something like that. This is the year I was born, you know, and so my dad, you know, which you'll hear me talk about him all the time.
Yeah.
He was a huge, you know, music fan. He always had music going in the house, just like I do now, you know, but he always had Dire Straits playing, you know, and so anyway, just hearing that was the first time I remember he would have that album going, and I was just obsessed with it. You know, I'd sit in the living room, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Like I still remember how the wood floors felt. Yeah. Like when I was sitting in front of the speakers, you know, and I'd sit there and I'd have my dad's little. He had an acoustic guitar, and I'd sit there and try to play along with the notes, and even my sister would come in. She had a little piano thing, you know, and she'd try to mimic it. And so, but this album, you know, that's kind of what I just studied it. That's the first one I just dove into, and really young. I mean, super young, and I just dissected it. Every guitar part, every riff, and I was like, I want to play the guitar. I mean, that's and so spun off of that. You know, I didn't at the time. I was so young. I didn't know what kind of guitars they were playing. We didn't have the internet. Actually, on the cover is this guitar, which I forget what that.
That is pretty cool.
I forget what kind of guitar that is, you know, but it has a name. Damn it. Anyway, I thought that's what, you know. Yeah. I thought, oh, he's playing one of those. But anyway, no. But you know, years later, I come to studying Mark Knopfler, you know, the guitar player, singer for Dire Straits. Yeah. Studying him, he plays a Strat. He plays a Les Paul as well. I mean, he does play both, but primarily Strat player. Yeah. And see, Dire Straits kind of led me into Pink Floyd, you know, because
that makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Pretty good. Yeah. They're two different bands, but I mean, but they're two. I mean, in my mind, you know, there's David Gilmour and there's Mark Knopfler. Yeah. You know, and I know a lot of people will say, you know, there's Eddie Van Halen, you know, Paul Stanley, all these guys. Give me Mark Knopfler, David Gilmour. Those are my, you know, kind of heroes, you know, and I'd study those guitar licks, you know, and so it kind of led into and just recently, just the past few years, it's like I started playing a Strat, and
what led you to playing a Strat? Was it by accident, or was there something?
Yeah, it was the accident, because I rejected Stratocasters for the longest time. I was like, all of my buddies, everyone plays a Strat. Yeah. So I played Ibanez for a long time. Yeah. And still do. My acoustics in Ibanez. But anyway, I was in a guitar store, and I was looking at these Blues Juniors, and there was a Strat. And it was the guitar store in Waco, actually.
Was it?
And I was looking at that amp, and they had a Strat sitting there, and I was like, Strat, you know. And I guess when I was playing that Strat through that Blues Junior, no effects, you know, and I was like, holy shit, dude. It's like, this is Dire Straits. Like, this is Pink Floyd. Like, this is what they, and I just started digging into Stratocasters. I bought books and everything, and sure enough, it just kind of led me to the Strat. It's like, that's why I play Strats now. And
but that's one reason that I love the Les Paul. And if you look at the body shape, it's bottom heavy. I mean, you put it on your lap, it just wants to go like that. So it's not. In fact, I actually let one of my students play Lolita today, and I was like, "So what do you think?" And I was like, "Is it heavy?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's heavy." But the thing for me is, just like you said, as soon as you started playing that Strat, you're like Dire Straits. For me, as soon as I start playing, like when we played Don't Cry at the beginning, it just, immediately I think of Slash. It just, especially with it. Now, Slash does do some different things with his dirty tones, but when you listen to his clean, it just, you can hear.
Yeah. You can get a lot of power.
Yes.
Yeah, you can get a lot of power with clean tones, and it's like what you were saying with guitars wanting to be played differently.
Yeah.
It's like that with all of mine. They take you places. They make you play. They make you play differently, and I don't know if you're just in a different mood when you pick them up. I mean, it kind of, you'll drive cars differently.
Right.
Like, you're going to drive a Corvette differently than you're going to drive a 4-wheel drive pickup. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
And but that's what makes it interesting, and that's why you go to recording studios and stuff. I mean, you don't see guitar players most of the time, except maybe like Angus Young. I mean, he played one show with one guitar,
that's
SG.
That's nuts.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, guitarists, they usually have an arsenal of guitars.
Yeah.
And actually, on my bucket list of, the next guitar I want to get a little Epiphone Les Paul.
Yeah.
It's just for, just to have, it's kind of that's the one I don't have. You know what I mean? I have my dad's Les Paul style.
The notes just ring, and
they do.
I think that's the thing about having a Les Paul style guitar. What I mean, Les Paul style, is having the humbuckers, because the notes just resonate. And I've got just a little bit of reverb. In fact, if I turn it up, it sounds kind of 60-ish, but it does. Those notes just ring out. It's great.
Yeah, and what I like about Les Pauls versus, and this was another thing. What I like about Les Pauls versus Strats, is the bridge. I like to. I feel naked. I don't have a guitar, but I like to pretend this is a guitar.
Okay, I can see it. There it is.
There it is. Yeah, it has strings. Ooh, you could make a.
How do the strings sound?
If you installed a nut here.
Are you in tune?
Yeah, I'm in E. But anyway, I like to rest my hand on the bridge when I play, because I do a lot of palm mutes or half palm mutes, and just to take some of the ring out of when I play. Yeah. Les Pauls are easier. They have that larger bridge. And you've got really something to put your hand on.
Yeah.
Where Strats are more.
It's the whole flat. I mean, would you say?
It's flat, and the little the saddles, the height adjuster screws on the saddles will stick up a little bit. Yeah. And so you'll kind of feel that when you play.
So like here, like Brian's saying. I mean, I can rest my hand right here where that saddle is. It's raised, so it feels.
You've got that nice 45-degree angle right there.
Yeah.
And you get a little more dexterity. With me, you get a little more. You can rock your wrist back and forth a little bit more, versus where a Strat, it's more of a. And when you're picking, God, this is the worst freaking episode not to have a guitar. Where you're. And I've got two of them right there, but I don't want to get up. But where you play, where you pick, or that affects the sound. I mean, that's going to affect your tone as well.
Your demonstrator. So as you're talking, I'm your Pat Sajak. I'm your Vanna White.
Yes, you're not as pretty, but
so if you're here versus over here,
yeah, it affects.
Yes, see,
that's going to affect
that's right.
See, all the way from Seattle to Washington, boom. We have way too much time on our hands.
We have way too much time. So we've got a few minutes left. So I was thinking, you've got your djembe, and I've in as you talk about Indian style. Okay, now I realized that didn't really sound in tune. In fact, I was purposely trying to hit wrong notes. No, seriously, I
was blasting off, dude. It sounded amazing to me.
I was purposely trying to hit notes in between a scale, because if you think about, like, with a major scale and minor scale, like, I was like purposely thinking, okay, Indian style music, it doesn't really sound in key or in tune. So I was like purposely like, okay, let me try hitting notes in between and see.
Yeah.
And so it didn't sound in tune or in key, but it sounded pretty cool.
It sounded cool to me, dude. I was going through the desert. It's like midnight.
No.
There's moonlight. Yeah, dude.
So, anyways, that's how it goes. So, don't forget to like, subscribe. We need haters, taters, and hoes. That's Brian's slogan.
Haters, taters, and hoes.
Trademark Guitar Dudes. So,
Guitar
what else do we
Dudes
need?
Inc. Incorporated. Copyright 2018. All rights reserved.
That's right.
Try to copy us, we'll sue your ass.
We will sue your ass.
Sue your ass. We'll end up with a whole studio for Guitar Dudes.
That's right.
We'll have guests. We need guests.
We do need guests, but we've got to figure out how. Guests. We've got to figure out how to get guests. I don't know how we're going to do it.
Because usually I'm trying to get people to leave my house. So now I got to get people to come over to my house.
Why would you want to do
that? See, I don't know. People come over.
Why do people? What?
I know. I'm not a good host.
No. What?
Maybe they could play my djembe.
You have to explain it like, hey, you want to play with my djembe? And like, I don't know if I want to do that.
I'm going to start texting people tonight. It's like 10 o'clock. I'm going to start telling people, hey, come over and play with my djembe.
That's a great
way to end the night.
It
is my big old djembe.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.